Hi, I'm Chris Frye, one of the partners at Steidl Steinberg, here to address one of the most common questions we get regarding filing for bankruptcy. The question is this: if I file for bankruptcy, will I lose my house? The answer to that question is almost always no, but this bears an explanation. First of all, there are different types of bankruptcy that have different effects on people's assets. The two most common types of bankruptcy for individuals by far are Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. A Chapter 7 is the type of bankruptcy where you can eliminate most unsecured debt without an ongoing payment plan. However, there are limits to the amount of assets that you can keep in a Chapter 7 without those assets being sold. Now, thankfully, at least in Pennsylvania, your home residence gets a good amount of protection under the law in a Chapter 7, and a lot of the time, you can file a Chapter 7 with absolutely no risk to your house whatsoever. It really all depends on the amount of equity, which is oftentimes where a Chapter 13 could come in. A Chapter 13 is the type of bankruptcy where you have an ongoing payment plan that can last anywhere between 36 and 60 months, so 3 to 5 years. In a Chapter 13, you are required to pay some or all of your debt, depending on the circumstances, over that 3 to 5 year period. And unless you want to, and as long as you're making your payments, your house is at no risk whatsoever, regardless of the amount of equity. How much the payments would be? Well, as we lawyers say, it all depends. But it is pretty easy to figure out at a consultation prior to filing anything. So if a Chapter 7 isn't an option due to the equity in a home, very often a Chapter 13 is. Finally, if keeping your house is your number one priority, and for many it is, which is totally understandable, we will figure that out at your consultation and plan accordingly. My office would never knowingly put one of our clients in a position to be forced to sell their home unless that was the plan from the outset. So, while the options available to you may depend on whether you want to keep your house or not, you can rest assured that it will be safe.